And I tell you this, my breakout moment in broadcasting was in Winnipeg doing the Wednesday Lottery with Don Whitman. And my favorite author, you can see there's a lot of books in behind me here. My favorite author is from Steinbach, Manitoba. Her name is Miriam Taves, and she moved up. Great story about Miriam. Her father, Mel, ran a school in Steinbach, but on weekends for pin money, he would sell his eggs up in Winnipeg. He would drop off containers of eggs. So at one point, he was getting ready to marry a woman named Elvira, who would be Miriam Taves, the author's mom. And he wanted to build a house just like one he'd seen in Winnipeg dropping off eggs. So Elvira says, well, what's it like inside? He says, oh, I have no idea. I just drop the eggs on the veranda and I move on. She said, well, you got to look inside to see if it's a house worth building. He says, I can't ask to go inside. I'm an egg deliverer. She said, leave it to me. So they go up to Winnipeg from Steinbach. She knocks on the door and says, do you mind if we have a look around? My husband here, Mel, wants to build a home just like this in Steinbach, and it will be our new wedding gift. And the guy says, come on in. It was Bill Mosienko. Bill Mosienko holds the record for the fastest hat trick in NHL history. He scored 3 goals in 21 seconds, and that just proves he's a good egg. Oh, sorry, there's a pun.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
One night in Edmonton, we were out on the town, and there was a guy by the name of Bane Norrie.
How about that?
Bane says, "Did I ever tell you guys about the night I was out with the Rolling Stones?" And I'm like, come on, what was Mick Jagger like? And he's like, well, no, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards weren't there. It was the rest of the band. And I hit the floor. You weren't with the Rolling Stones then, Bane.
Keith Richards and Mick Jagger are the Rolling Stones.
Exactly.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Hello, everybody. Hello, Canada, Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the RP Show. We are live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino on a brand new week. It's episode number 1050 of your favorite daytime sports talk show. And you know how I know it's your favorite? It's because you're here on Game Plus Television all across Canada, on Game Plus TV in 31 U.S. states. We're on WQEE Radio in Atlanta, where we are Atlanta's NHL show. And we do have some fun NHL talk coming your way today, podcast and YouTube Live. Darren Moose DuPont joins us. He is in, believe it or not, the sweatpants capital. Moose, welcome to the show. Good to see you again. You're there for some baseball, which we'll get into throughout the course of the week. Hey, we got breaking news today. I got it right out of the chute. And then we will deliberate on it a little later as the Quick Six Show topics go on. Breaking news today, Jarius Jackson is replacing Stephen McAdoo as the offensive coordinator of the Canadian Football League's Edmonton Elks. So that's the breaking news today. And so we have a lot to get to. Listen up, Edmonton. There's your breaking news today. You can't beat live. You can't beat live. We got so many things to get to today, Moose. So very quickly, just tell me, what is your thought? How was the weekend? And then we'll get into the Quick Six Show topics.
The weekend was great. Weekend was awesome. So let's just start there. It was great, but yours looked pretty good up in Banff too. So happy to be back.
Well, that was just that was the tiniest little smidge of the weekend. Listen, here. Well, what the heck? Let's slow things down. Ooh, so. Here at Century Downs, this is where it all started. Packwood Grand, it's Canada's Kentucky Derby. I was looking forward to today, walking in here this morning and saying, so what's the skinny? Talking to the security people and so forth. Because as you know, Moose, when there's alcohol, there's problems. Talk to any cop or ambulance driver. Where there's alcohol, there's problems. So I just knew there would be. So I came here Saturday. The races started around 1:15. They're ordering shots up at the bar. Everybody's dressed in three-piece, well, even better than that, tuxedos and cocktail dresses. I'm like, oh, this is just going to be, whoa. And then I met a football guy down here. My whole idea was to watch Touchdown Atlantic in the lounge. Big mistake, Clark. Big. Not one television was on the CFL game. We had to ask them to put the game on, and it's like, honey, it's Not now, is what the lady said at the betting window. And there was not a fight erupting, but there was some angst because there was 3 young drunk girls having a girls' night. And they didn't get their bets in time, and the people behind them, wanted to get their bets in. I'm like, this is, whew. And then Serena was landing right in the middle of touchdown Atlantic. Her plane was coming in, so I'm like, here you go, Curtis, the football guy. Have fun. And then I was out. And then, we went out to Banff yesterday just for the morning. You know how it is. I like to rip out there and back. You're so close to this National Historic Park that you can do that. And then I came back to the Calgary Stampeders watch party to watch their team lose at Montreal. And I'll say this. This is where Banff was just a tiny little part of the weekend. Some guy comes up to me, David, real nice guy. And this is quintessential, and Kevin the Medium was in the house, and he's here in the house here right now. I didn't tell you this, Moose. And I'll get to the news, everybody. Just hang on. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. I'm going to tell my stories. Guy comes up to me. He's wearing a Stampeders T-shirt, and he goes, Rod Pedersen? I'm like, yeah. He goes, David. He goes, I'm a fan. I'm a follower. I watch the show, but I got to be honest with you. I'm a Stamps fan, huge Flames fan. I just didn't like you as a Saskatchewan guy. But I'm telling my friends, you got to watch the show. You got to watch it because it's so great. And my friends are like, no, he's a Sask guy. We don't like him. And he goes, no, I think he's coming around. And I was like, well, thanks. It's only been 2 years. Coming out here, I'm glad they're finally noticing. And he said also that he used to work in Theron Fleury's hockey school, and he goes, because you and Theo are tight, that tells me that you're a good guy. So here we go. Bob's your uncle. And I didn't stay for the whole game, but here's the hilarious thing. Did you notice, Kevin, as we were leaving, I walked up to the guy. He had a table of 3 to 4 women sitting with him. He's a man about town, this guy, David. He's got a lot of beautiful women with him. Yep, and he was like praying. He was praying. Calgary was losing the game. He was so into it. He was in the middle of prayer. Like, I grabbed him by the arm. I'm like, hey, bro, we're out. He's not even hearing. Don't interrupt somebody when they're praying. I just learned that Sunday. It's like, don't stop a dog when he's eating. Don't tug on Superman's cape. And don't bother somebody when they're praying. So there's my stories. Can you hit the quick stick show horn, please, Director Jordan? There's the recap of a wild. We were learning stuff already, Moose, at 5 minutes into the show. Somebody's praying. Don't interrupt him. Point 1, breaking news. Host Australia scored a 4-0 win over Canada in Monday's pivotal group stage finale. The Matildas, that's their name, clinched top spot in Group B and a place in the round of 16 at the expense of the Olympic champions from Canada. Australia needed a win to guarantee that it would advance. Canada needed a win to avoid elimination, so we're out. In front of a vocal pro-Australia crowd of 27,706 in Melbourne, Canada became the first reigning Olympic gold medal champion to be eliminated in group play at the subsequent Women's World Cup. So, yeah, we made history. Hey, we'll be remembered for something. Went into the history books. I immediately saw a notification come across my phone that Christine Sinclair says she will not be participating in another Women's World Cup, and I think maybe even subsequent international competition. The flies have found me here, Moose. And by the way, shout out to Rhino Radio. We're very big in Atlanta. I'm going on Richard Holdridge's show this afternoon, shortly after ours. And I just got you wouldn't believe. I don't know what your inbox is like, but here's mine. If I could just get a minute of your time. Take it, bro. And we're booking into next month. That's all. I can handle it. But I cannot handle it all today. Point 2, the AL East leading Baltimore Orioles open a critical 4-game series against the host Toronto Blue Jays tonight. The Orioles, 5.5 games up on the Blue Jays, pounded the Yankees 9-3 Sunday night, while earlier in the day the Jays lost 3-2 and 10 to the visiting LA Angels. Chris Bassett on the mound for the Jays tonight against Kyle Gibson. Point 3, Blue Jays strengthened their depleted bullpen Sunday by acquiring righty Jordan Hicks in a trade with the St. Louis Cardinals. Toronto sent minor league righties Adam Kloffenstein and Sam Roberts to St. Louis for the 26-year-old Hicks. He's a 5-year veteran who spent his entire career with the Cardinals. He's 1-6 with a 3.67 ERA today. We're not going to sit here and examine Blue Jays baseball right now. We've got Craig Ballard coming up in hour 2 from the LockedOn Jays podcast, LockedOn Blue Jays podcast, to talk about that. Everybody came here to talk because it's July 31st. It's summer and it's Canada. They came to talk some football today. So listen up, everybody. Start spreading the news. We'll talk about what happened Sunday night, then we'll get into everything else. But Bo Levi Mitchell has a broken leg. And, Darren, if you weren't paying attention to what happened at the end of the Hamilton game Friday, can you hurry up and find it? Because I don't know what the hell happened. But in Montreal last night, the Alouettes got a touchdown, turnovers, and clutch stops from their D en route to a 25-18 victory over the visiting Calgary Stampeders. Stamps got 6 field goals from Rennie Paredes, while David Cote kicked 6 for the Owls. Death, taxes, and Fajardo winning. That's what you can count on. Alouettes won 25-18. They're not happy in Calgary. Their team is 2-5, and as you may have seen the graphic, they have not had a losing season since 2007, which was the last season before John Huffnagel rode into town and saved the franchise. So where are you on that or any other Week 8 thoughts?
Yeah, it was important for Montreal to get a big win over Calgary. I thought that was a big way to end it. A lot of field goals in that one, but you know what? The points still count the same. And then obviously a lot of attention on Touchdown Atlantic. I watched most of Touchdown Atlantic. Hard to watch all of Touchdown Atlantic because it got away from Saskatchewan. As we kind of unfortunately anticipated, and a lot of the conversation in that market now is about Mason Fine and moving forward because we saw Dolegala come in garbage time and play well for a few snaps. But that was another big one. And BC, Toronto, they still continued to flex and show everybody that they're the top teams in the CFL.
There's some bad teams in the CFL, too, by the way. There's some bad teams. And trust me, everybody, we'll get to it. If you've just tuned in, changes in Edmonton. Stephen McAdoo replaced this morning by Jarius Jackson as the Elks offensive coordinator. Just settle down. We got 2 hours today. We'll get to everything. Scott Matheson chimes in. He's watching on the streaming. He says, hey, from Estevan. Hay's for horses, Scott. And the Stanley Cup was in Estevan on Sunday, and I believe Davidson Sask as well. Keeper of the Cup, Phil Pritchard. What did we tell him? Just bring a big old spray bomb off for the summer, because all you're going to be doing is going back and forth between Manitoba and Sask. Ryan in Toronto says, a new week with old friends. Hello, Rod Squad. Here we go. Ryan in New York State says, good day, Rod Squad. Trust me, he is a Jets fan, and you've seen the fight between Aaron Rodgers and Sean Payton, which I'll get into. Don't get me off my platform. That's what the quarterback coaches say now, right? He's good when he's on his platform. When he's off his platform, he gets in trouble. So I'm saying on my platform, right now is where we can't get to the viewer comments just yet. But I guess what we can do is get to the other weekend games, Week 8 games, before we break and come back with more of the NFL talk and why am I wearing a Vegas Golden Knights shirt you're going to see momentarily. By the way, our CFL coverage is brought to you in part by Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beer. Check them out at sobercarpenter.com. We'll get to the blossoming quarterbacks controversy in Saskatchewan. We got a whole week to talk about it, everybody, so hold your horses. Let's walk it back a little bit. We talked about Edmonton. They made a change at OC. I had a football guy this week said he talked to Jones yesterday, and Jones said he wasn't making any changes. And then this today. So something changed, but I'll guarantee you this. Nobody made Chris Jones do this. He did this on his own. I was going back and forth with this football guy yesterday, and I said, why is Jones so loyal to McAdoo? I mean, I don't know enough about whether he's doing a good job calling plays or not. I know with my guy Fajardo in 2019, he threw for 5,000 yards, didn't he? And they finished first, and he was the West Division most outstanding player. So I don't think McAdoo is a complete doofus when it comes to being an offensive coordinator. And the guy said, well, Mac and Jones go back 30 years. College football in Tennessee. It's a loyalty thing. But I'm not done with Bo Levi Mitchell. Somebody help me, because I'm just a dumb hayseed, as I get reminded all the time. Were you watching Hamilton, Ottawa Friday night? Like, Ottawa turned it over on downs with 30 seconds to go at the Hamilton 2. I'm like, oh, beep, it's over. Boop. I guess I could have waited 30 more seconds because in that 30 seconds, Bo Levi Mitchell breaks his leg. And I still haven't seen video. What the hell happened? What happened?
I know. And again, I wasn't watching the end of that game either. I had other things going on, so I missed the fourth quarter of it. And then I'm checking my notifications, and I'm like, how does this happen in this moment? and instantly your mind goes to, did they rush him back? Lower body injury, did they rush him back? I don't know if it's related, really, when you're looking at a broken leg now. Those things are freak accidents, and it just seems like one piece of bad luck here after another for Bo and Hamilton. And I think that's the disappointing part, is it just one thing after another, especially in a game like that, that kind of went back and forth and that Hamilton was going to win anyways. For it to end like that, pretty unfortunate.
And again, you people, you football people, tell me what happened, because I didn't see it. Darren didn't see it. How does your quarterback break his leg in the last 30 seconds? I literally turned it off because I'm like, this is over. I had a guy write into the website today and said, Rod, they were at the 2. He can't kneel down. If he had, he'd have taken a safety. I'm like, then take a damn safety. You were leading 16-12. It's only 2 points. Kick off. Everybody's saying that Orlando Steinauer blew it. I'm just not necessarily. Okay, so Brian in Alberta says he rolled back at the 1-yard line, staying out of the end zone. Well, you are, of the two of us, you're by far the more football person. Should they have put the backup in to run that?
I mean, that's the game today. That's the game. And a couple Fridays ago, I talked to Jim Barker about this, and he said, one of the things that's hurting the development of quarterbacks is having a third down quarterback on your roster. He said, when you used to have Ricky Ray in Toronto, you had Trevor Harris and Zach Caleros as backups. So you're, grooming these guys to be your next starter. Well, you're not doing that anymore. You should have that third down quarterback in that can handle these plays. Maybe in that big moment, you only trusted Bo with the ball in his hands. You didn't want to fumble. You didn't want to have any exchange issues, because that's a touchdown, not a safety, a touchdown that could be going the other way if you fumble the snap or something. But no, I think in the way the game's played right now, it should be automatic that your short yardage quarterback's coming in to just push this ahead a couple of times.
I'll tell you what, football more than ever and more than any other sport is the ultimate hindsight sport. And I want to get into that next. At all levels, NFL, CFL, college, high school. But so it didn't work out. Your quarterback breaks his leg, and now Orlando's an idiot, according to some. I'm with you. You said, is Bo jinxed or cursed? Is Hamilton jinxed or cursed? I don't know what it is, but because it didn't work out, they look like idiots. Had it worked out as designed, we're not talking about it today. You know what I mean? So we have a lot of NHL talk to get to when we come back. The NFL stuff between Aaron Rodgers and Sean Payton, and more on this, including the Sask quarterback controversy. There's a whole lot of people talking right now that shouldn't be talking. So we'll talk about that when we return. We are live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino, where you see the Pro Chuck Wagon World Finals are August 23rd to the 27th here at Century Downs. You can get your tickets right now at showpass.com. We'll be right back on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hello, all. We are live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. And by the way, the text line is open. It's for EMJ Marketing. Providing the right keynote speaker for your event. Contact Joe at emjmarketing.com today. That's the EMJ Marketing text line. It's open right now, 902-518-3033. Joe provides the best speakers out there, including me. Stu Grimson as well, my good friend. He's got a very outstanding roster. I think Mike Vanderjack as well, Super Bowl winning kicker. Idiot kicker. Okay, let's bring in Moose now. He is in the sweatpants capital of all things. The breaking news today, Jarius Jackson's replacing Stephen McAdoo as the offensive coordinator of the Edmonton Elks, and Canada lost to the host, Australia, at the World Women's Cup. They're gone. They're coming home. Had a guy, a football guy of all things, tell me on the weekend, Moose, I don't know if I told you this. No, I didn't, because I didn't talk to you. He goes, you can't come to Florida and continue to talk so much CFL. You're going to have to talk more NFL. And I'm like, hubby, you do you, bro, because I'm not telling you how to live your life, and you stay out of mine. How's that work, okay? As we continue to grow in these U.S. markets, talking about what we talk about. So just worry about you. Because this is what's hot today. Cooper is watching in Mississippi. You know Cooper. He writes in, he says, Rod, I'll say it the way Cooper would say it. Rod, have you ever seen people wearing bags on their heads like those Elk fans? Saturday night, BC at Edmonton. Who doesn't like... You know, that show Highway from Hell, right? All the wrecks on the side of the road. Who didn't like watching that? The Edmonton Elks are the biggest wreck going, and their fans were wearing bags over their heads. Now, Cooper, I got our guy Kevin here. I feel like we're going to bring Kevin on the air later. What I like about him is we're about the same age, so he can reference. In the 80s, there was the Unknown comic. That's the first thing I thought about. Darren, you wouldn't know what the Unknown comic was, right? It was a stand-up comic, but a paper bag over his head. He was the most famous comic in America. Nobody knew who he was. That's the first thing I thought of. And two, the last time I saw 80s, maybe 90s, was when fans came to games wearing paper bags over the head, and it was NFL teams. But I've never seen it in the CFL. But are the Edmonton Elks the worst team in CFL history? As a guy that's been covering the league since 1991, that's only 31 years. That's a pretty good body of work. They're the worst team I've seen. What do you think?
Well, I was going to say the same thing, Rod, that they're the worst team I've seen. And that's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. And the biggest thing about it is we don't have any signs that it's going to change. Like, there's no glimpses of hope. There's no evidence that, look at, everything's going okay here. They're just not getting the result. That's not happening. So I think that's the biggest frustrating part. I'm not a big CFL historian, so I couldn't speak to all time, but I mean, I can't imagine teams worse. It's just really unfortunate because we know there's good people there working really hard to get this thing right, but they just can't. And that's what's tough is when you don't have answers.
Okay, people love the stories, and it's summer and it's CFL, which is another thing I want to tell people. Man, I have a lot of things to get off my chest today. On one hand, I have certain people saying, even in Canada, they're like, you're not going to grow talking CFL. Yet on the other, and then in the other ear, I have people saying, don't forget your base. You were 20 years full-time in the CFL. Don't forget, you built up a big following. So how about you guys all back off and I'll decide? So 2003, the Hamilton Tiger Cats were 1-17. Who was the lone team that the Tiger Cats beat? The Saskatchewan Roughriders, and I called the game at Ivor Stadium. Ronnie Lancaster was the coach of Hamilton, and I'll never forget. The game went to overtime, of all things. And I think Paulus Bollison kicked the winning, in overtime, kicked the winning field goal, and we're like, we're the only team to lose to this bunch of scrubs in Hamilton. And late in the game, there was a fumble going on. We're on offense, and you remember Andrew Green? Andrew Green, the way he talks. I think our quarterback put it on the ground, and Andrew, he didn't jump on it. Andrew picked it up, and he thinks he's going to score a touchdown. Offensive tackle, if I can remember correct, former Miami Dolphin and Seattle Seahawk. And he fumbles the ball. Hamilton recovers. This might have been an overtime. They go back the other way and score and win the game. And after the game, we're like, Drew, what are you doing? You actually think you're going to score a touchdown? You're 330 pounds. And he's like, hey, don't get mad at me. If I'm touching the ball, they're the problem. Good point. It was in that game 20 years ago. Don't blame me. So, yeah. And with Edmonton, yeah, I think until we see otherwise, they are the worst team in CFL history. No team's gone winless. They might. And but back to that. It's a confidence thing, and they have none. And now the firings have started because the football guys are saying this is the last thing Chris Jones wanted to do was make a change. Because those are his guys. There's no more loyal crew than the Chris Jones crew of football guys, and he made a change today. That would not have been made lightly, and I don't know what went on. If it would be reasonable to say maybe the president, Victor Cui, marched in a Chris Jones room and said, that was awful on Saturday. You got to make a change or I will. That happens quite often from the executive level in sports. Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg writes in, he says, I'm here because of the football, or the CFL. He says, our #1 city for viewership is now Winnipeg, and the reason I posted that was because it's not like we're more popular in Winnipeg now than Saskatchewan. It's a numbers thing. It's a straight numbers thing. There's way more people in Winnipeg, and there's more people watching than ever in Winnipeg. It's naturally going to surpass my home province of Saskatchewan, but there's just as many people in Saskatchewan watching, trust me. Which reminds me, we got to get to this Sask quarterback controversy thing. You said you watched the game. I watched the game. Mason Fine wasn't great, but he was better. I think he's getting better. And he wasn't the one that fumbled the ball at the goal line. He wasn't the one that gave up the kick return touchdown. Yeah, I think you can't continue to have a revolving door at the quarterback position. If you believe in Mason Fine, which they do, because this is his third year, you can't keep pulling guys. That's I don't know, maybe you completely disagree, but I saw the one reporter in Sask say, if Jake Dolegala doesn't start the next game, every coach needs to be replaced. I'm like, who the hell are you to say that? Just get on the radio and yap to your audience and stop telling the riders how to run the team. I kind of started to understand now where there's problems in Toronto and Dallas and these major markets where the local team is the number one thing, because the media is not qualified to tell the people running the team how to run the team. They just aren't, okay? So let them run their team. And I guess they announced Fine will start against Ottawa this weekend. I think he should. Now, you may completely discount that and blow my theory out of the water, and that's fine. But that's what I think.
The other side of the argument, and I'll get to all of this, but the other side of the argument for me is at some point, though, the good quarterbacks overcome the fumbles, the mistakes that the team around them are making, and still find a way to put points on the board. And the biggest issue for me is just the lack of touchdowns, so they just haven't been there. But this is about developing a young quarterback, and you do have to be patient, and you can't make knee-jerk reactions and have guys coming in. Because what happens if you put Dolegala in and he doesn't play well for 2 games, and you've set this precedent? Are you just going to go back and forth and back and forth? Now you're done. And now both quarterbacks' knees are knocking. They have no security. They're always looking over their shoulder, so it's tough. So I know Craig Dickinson's probably got an idea in mind as to when he'll pull the trigger. They're going to give him another game in Ottawa, and maybe that's it. Maybe it's one more start in Ottawa before you make the move. And then you've got to commit to Jake Dolegala, though, for 6 weeks or 7 or a number, right? And give him a real chance. But right now, you can't just be making knee-jerk reactions. I agree. But the leash has to be getting shorter at the same time.
Bob in Morden, Manitoba says, Rod, cover it all. No problem. Thank you. I mean, how fun do you think it is to sit in my chair and be able to have meetings with NHL people and NFL people and CFL people and all the leagues that I want to cover? It's fantastic. It would be stupid to not talk about these things that I've got experience and knowledge in. So it's never, hey, listen. We're never going to stop the people from telling us what to do, right, Moose? The thing is, just not going to listen to them. The point of the matter is they're all watching. We didn't even get to the NHL, by the way, now that I think about it, and I look at my Golden Knights shirt on the TV in front of me. So the poll question today for our good friends at Key Auto Group, thanks for reminding me, Rod. Will the Vegas Golden Knights repeat as Stanley Cup champions? It's brought to you by Key Auto Group. At the Key Auto Group, you can buy with confidence knowing that they provide reports on all the vehicles they sell. Get fully informed with your next vehicle by going to keyautogroup.ca. Don't get me started. I wanted to have the Golden Girl on today. Serena's in town. She's in Calgary, but she's busy. She's working. She's going to come on tomorrow because I want to get her opinion on a lot of things, Moose. I voted yes that the Vegas Golden Knights will repeat as Stanley Cup champions for a variety of reasons. The results from what I've seen on Twitter are around 50-50. Clark, is that what it is on YouTube? Ish?
Yeah, it's just a little bit more for no at the moment.
Slightly more, no, they won't repeat. Well, it's one team against the other 31, so I understand why, but this is what people do not understand. And I see guys that are big Canadian sports broadcasting names that when Kelly McCrimmon was choosing between being the GM of the Oilers or the Golden Knights or the Kraken, people were, I don't want to say where, people that should know better, Moose, were like, why is Kelly McCrimmon such a big deal? Why is he? I'm like, if you don't know that, what are you doing on the air at all analyzing the NHL? He's the Glenn Sather of junior hockey, Kelly McCrimmon. Known him since I was 16 years old. Everybody knows that. The Golden Knights are always going to be in contention because Kelly McCrimmon's running the show. That's a fact, and that's not me kissing his ass because I have no reason to. It's just a fact. And I read an article this morning at NHL.com where Krim said, we didn't need to change over much of the team. The guys that won the Stanley Cup need to be rewarded. So they traded Riley Smith out of town, probably a clerical thing more than anything. They've re-signed Barbashev. Jonathan Quick left, but they didn't need him. But Kelly wanted to return the same gang. That's different than the way he's run the team before, in which I've seen it. I've had a front row seat for 40 years. If you don't deliver the mail, you're gone. If you work for Kelly McCrimmon, but everybody knows that. Everybody's fine with that. So then they win the Stanley Cup, and Krem's like, everybody's coming back if I can help it. That shouldn't surprise anybody, Moose.
No, it shouldn't. It's what he's trying to do. And, you can't fit everybody inside. Everybody wants a raise. You just want a cup. So, you got to be okay letting some of these guys go and making some moves so they can go get paid at the same time and retain your core. And he'll do that. Here's why I think they won't win the cup. I think it's salary restricted.
Yep.
I don't know if Aiden Hill's going to be the guy if he can get magic back, lightning in a bottle twice. And there's just too many other teams like Edmonton and Carolina knocking at the door.
Well said. See you a little later if you're down.
Thank you.
Gus Frerotte joins us next. For the NFL fans, we'll be talking 4 Down. We're live at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, on the Game Plus television network. We're also on the radio WQEE in Atlanta. Maybe chat a little Dirty Birds with Gus. We're also on podcast and YouTube Live.
Century Downs Racetrack and Casino presents the World Professional Chuck Wagon Association Finals. Be here when the wagons roll August 23rd to 27th. Single-day tickets and 5-day passes available at showpass.com. Century Downs, welcome to the winner's zone.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We're live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. The EMJ Marketing text line is open, 902-518-3033. EMJ Marketing, providing the right keynote speaker for your event. Contact Joe at emjmarketing.com today. Time to get on the bus with Gus. 15-season NFL quarterback, Pro Bowler Gus Frerotte joins us here 1 week into NFL training camps. Good to see you, Gustav. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Rod. How are you?
Good. Always fun to chat ball. Always fun to see your face. And Gus, I don't know where to start. 1 week into NFL training camps, what has your attention the most right now? What's taking up the most of your focus?
Well, it was my birthday weekend, so that I really didn't focus on anything else. My kids were, hey.
Attaboy.
We went to a Pirate game. They cooked me dinner. I mean, there's nothing better than that. And then, I think last week the thing that scared everybody was Joe Burrow's calf injury. That's about training camp right now.
Yeah. How could you miss that, though? And you reside in that AFC North division, so I expect Joe will be back. He had appendicitis 2 training camps ago, ended up in the Super Bowl. But I will ask you this. I know what a huge fan you are of Lamar Jackson, and he got the bag. Is that what they're saying? He got the bag in the offseason. Are you the believer that he is the number 1 quarterback of the National Football League? If not, whom?
Well, I mean, I think you can't deny Patrick Mahomes being the number 1 guy right now. I mean, for everything that he's done. And other guys are getting the bag as well. Look what Justin Herbert just got, But I was happy for Lamar. I think he deserves it. I think all those guys, when you can get your money, go and get it. And, now you just got to go out and prove that you're worth that, right? And we've seen guys get the money and not show up, and we've seen guys get the money and continue to play really well. So it's going to be another exciting football season. I don't care who you're a fan of. There's a lot of hype around every team, and I think the NFL just does an incredible job of promoting its brand and its business.
Well, let me ask you this. You've got the NFL Alumni Podcast Network going on. How's that been going, by the way, in a country where there's an insatiable appetite for this kind of stuff? I'm sure it's going great.
Yeah, we've rebranded it now to NFL Alumni Media Network, which is great, right? And we now are building all of our guys, any of our former alumni who want to come on, we help them build their own channel, to build their brand, own their stories, and kind of create the content they want, whether it's a long form show like you have, or it's short form content, it's live watch parties. Anybody can go to our website, NFLalumnimedia.com, and check out all of our guys. And, this for me is a passion play because it lets me connect with all of our former alumni. When we leave the NFL as players, we lose a whole family. And not many of us get to go on and stay in football. And a lot of us want to reconnect with our guys. We love our family. We love everything that we've built outside of football. But that's a big part of us, and it's really nice to reconnect. And it gives me an opportunity to reconnect with all of our guys.
It's funny, Gus. Keep your eye open for this trend, because last night I was at the Calgary Stampeders watch party. Calgary was playing at Montreal. And there were some broadcast people there, and they said, we heard this one talk company, radio company, is going to hire bots to host sports talk shows. Bots, robots. And I'm like, good. That doesn't scare me, because the people that are on there now aren't that good. You put robots on there, they'll continue to drive listeners to what we're doing, to those that know what they're talking about. So just keep your ear to the ground on that, because my guess is it'll probably happen in the National Football League. And we should spend a minute on this. Aaron Rodgers snipping at Sean Payton and back and forth. Sean Payton in Denver saying Nathaniel Hackett did the worst job in NFL history of coaching the Broncos last year. He's walked it back a little bit, but Aaron Rodgers has said, don't talk about my coach. He's now with the Jets, as you know. You following that situation? And if so, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to stand up for your coach, right? You got to stand up for the guy that's with you, that you're going to be working with every day in and out. You got to stand up for him. And I don't agree with Sean Payton. You know, they always teach you don't burn any bridges. I burn a few myself, but as a coach, and there's another coach out there that's at the same time, it's not like they're retired or they're not doing their work. He's going out there and trash talking another coach. I don't think that's ever good, and I don't really know why he would do that. But for Aaron Rodgers, the kind of pull that he has, he can say whatever he wants, and to stand up for his coach, it probably made his coach feel pretty good, and that brings the team and rallies everybody around them.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, but let me ask you, clearly you're an Aaron Rodgers fan, and I wonder why specifically. Is that because of his longevity? You said his resume. I mean, how do you think it'll play out with the Jets? What's your take on that whole thing?
I don't know. I think that as good as he was, a Hall of Fame player probably with the Packers, just getting that kind of reinvigorating start, and I think the Jets have a lot of really good pieces around him, and they can build a really good team around him. I don't think it's like when Favre left the Packers and went to the Jets. It's not the same. You know, but when Favre left the Jets and went to the Vikings, there's a guy who had one of the best seasons ever in his career. And I think with Aaron Rodgers, they were looking for that person to take the Jets to the next level. And I think he gives them that ability, because if you want to win in this league, you better have a quarterback.
Yeah. What is your take on the payouts to quarterbacks? Because on one hand, I sit here and think it's too much. On the other, the personnel people are saying, Rod, you got to pay the guy. But if you pay the wrong guy, you're in a lot of trouble. How do you feel about the salaries that are being handed out right now?
It is what it is. I mean, everybody's making money off the NFL, and the players, you know, I'm just, you know, probably 30 years too old right now. I wish I was coming through right now instead of 30 years ago, but, you know, it is what it is. And these guys are creating great value for themselves. And, you know, it's funny, though, but you see the quarterbacks getting the money, and then the running backs are going the other way. And, you know, it's tough to see, because you feel like the wealth is not being distributed equally. But that's the game, and that's how it's always been. We saw before left tackles at one point were getting paid more than quarterbacks, and now it's changing.
Do you foresee that could cause a problem in the locker room? I'm universally told that it will not, but does finances enter the locker room?
No. I think when you're in there, everybody's happy that you're getting paid, you're making money. You know, and in the end, the only way you get paid is if you go out and prove it on the field on Sundays. And if you're doing that, then your teammates are pretty happy.
Absolutely. And we are, still a long ways away, I think 5 weeks from games, but at least we got a few things to talk about. Gus, a quick shout out again where people can catch your stuff and what you're into, if you don't mind.
Yeah, everyone can go to NFLalumnimedia.com. They can check out all of our channels and our shows. It's basically, we're an OTT network now that will be streaming content from all our guys. We're a lifestyle network. You know, we all play football, but we all have other passions, and some of our guys love cooking. Some of our guys love, you name it, fishing to doing whatever, wine. It's all that, and we're building these channels for our guys so they can share their content, because, Rod, not everybody's like you and is technologically savvy, and our guys, need a little help.
Hot take. I gotcha. Gus, thanks for this, man. Appreciate you. Enjoy the summer. Let's do it again soon.
All right, definitely. Thanks, Rob. See you.
Pro Bowl quarterback, 15-year NFL veteran Gus Frerotte. And I defy you to close your eyes and listen to him talk and swear that it's not Saskatchewan Roughriders head coach Craig Dickinson. Roll that back a little bit. I swear, man, they sound exactly the same. We'll be right back with a sports update. On the way in hour 2, Craig Ballard from the Locked On Blue Jays podcast to talk about the Bluebirds here at the trade deadline. We are live on the Game Plus television network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
This is why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to Rod Pedersen
Venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, everybody. It's going to be audience takeover time if we have time. We got about 5 minutes in this segment, which is a lot in television time. We got a few breaking news items from this Monday. From the National Hockey League, the Minnesota Wild have signed goaltender Philip Gustafsson to a 3-year, $11.25 million contract. Meanwhile, from the Canadian Football League, the Edmonton Elks are making some changes to their coaching staff after a poor start to the CFL season. They announced this morning pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach Jarius Jackson will take over as offensive coordinator for the ONA club. He succeeds Stephen McAdoo in the position. The team says McAdoo will remain on staff in an advisory role. More on that in a moment. But from the Women's World Cup today, tournament co-host Australia ended Canada's FIFA Women's World Cup campaign with a lopsided 4-0 win in Melbourne this morning. Canada's on its way home. The Blue Jays open a key 4-game series against the Baltimore Orioles at Rogers Center tonight. The Jays sit third in the AL East, 5.5 back of the O's. And the Montreal Canadiens have signed forward Jesse Jolinen to a one-year, two-way contract today. The 23-year-old played 37 games with the Habs last season, had 6 goals, 10 assists. Sports update is for Landmark Cinemas in theaters August 2nd. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. Coming your way August 2nd at Landmark Cinemas. That is this week. I see there's a whole lot of people getting real fired up about a lot of things, specifically that Saskatchewan quarterback position there. And, it is what it is. I mean, I think they should continue to go with Mason Fine at quarterback. Not everybody agrees. We're also asking, are the Edmonton Elks the worst team in CFL history? Have a tough time saying that they're not. And this, by the way, is how the way that things change. I talked to a football guy yesterday. He said that he had talked to Jones and no changes were expected with the 0-8 Elks staff. Monday morning, Stephen McAdoo, the offensive coordinator, out. What changed? And I literally wonder if the team president didn't walk into Jones's office and say, we're hot garbage. You need to make a change, and if you don't, I will. I don't know. I completely have no idea. But that's usually how it goes. Hank is watching in the Queen City. He says, Rod, successful companies have a good leader. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are lacking that leadership. They have a GM and coach who between them have over 40 years experience, and we haven't been able to put together a decent offensive line. Signed, Hank in Regina. John is watching in Rosetown. He says the Calgary Stampeders in some trouble as well, 2-5 with Toronto on the horizon. The Dickinson brothers might not be in the same spots next season. Kevin the Medium, I hope you're taking notes over there because we have a lot of things to get to next hour. I don't believe you're not paying attention. You're commenting in the chat, so stop. Don't lie to me. I can smell a lie like a fart in the car, and you know that. Last minute of play in hour one. Try and pull that on. I'm not paying attention. My ass. Everybody's paying attention. Stephen in North Dakota, where is it? He says, greetings and no hallucinations from 74 degrees, Crosby, North Dakota. He says the CFL, completely fractured league, breaking legs on meaningless plays, can't function league, etc. Oh, we have a lot to get to. I opened up the text line and had a note here that has to do with Halifax CFL expansion. So this is what they want to talk about today. We'll continue it after this brief pause. We're live on the Game Plus television network, which is TELUS Channel 924 in Alberta and BC. WQEE Radio in Atlanta, podcast and YouTube Live. Stick around. We'll be right back.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Lake Center, you can mark us here, more off the scene. ETA 22 minutes.
prizes.
The prizes are a draw, but the cause, that's the clincher.
This is why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Ad marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
One night in Edmonton, we were out on the town, and there was a guy by the name of Bain Norrie.
How about that?
Bain says, "I'd ever tell you guys about the night I was out with the Rolling Stones?" And I'm like, "Come on, what was Mick Jagger like?" And he's like, "Well, no, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards weren't there. It was the rest of the band." And I hit the floor. "You weren't with the Rolling Stones then, Bain."
Keith Richards and Mick Jagger are the Rolling Stones.
Exactly.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. It's one of those days where I just couldn't wait to get on the air. I couldn't wait to get into Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. Couldn't wait to be talking to you on Game Plus Television and WQEE Radio. And literally whatever the heck you want us to talk about, we'll delve into. There are so many things on the go here. I'm in Calgary. Darren Moose DuPont joins us from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. That's where he is. We covered the weekend last hour in this spot, what we went through, so I'm going to move forward. It's not Black Monday per se, but I guess there's one, not even a firing. It's the way the CFL does things now. Nobody gets fired. Actually, I think it's an Edmonton thing. Nobody gets fired like with the orders for years. Just we got reshuffled you. So Stephen McAdoo, the offensive coordinator of the Elks, who are 0-8, has been reshuffled to an advisory role. Jarius Jackson replacing Stephen McAdoo this morning. Canada as offensive coordinator of the Elks. Canada losing 4-0 to the host Australian team at the Women's World Cup. They're coming home empty-handed. And there's a lot of people going off on the Saskatchewan Roughriders quarterback situation, the quarterback controversy, and we'll get to that. Great questions coming in. And I just welcome everybody all over North America, wherever you're tuned in, to sit back and enjoy, because we're not just going to talk about sports. We're going to go through a few life lessons, and I'm not even sure how this came up. I was running to the bathroom in the break, Moose, coming back, thinking about what I was going to talk about here. And I will tell you, this is the only segment we'll need you this hour. In hour 2, Kevin, the medium, is going to be sitting in our guest chair here. We'll be talking CFL football. There's going to be a lot of CFL this hour. And I don't know why. I just want to say, I don't know how it came up in my mind, but it was like you need to. Oh, it was Sean Payton. That's what it was. That's what it was. Sean Payton, the coach of the Denver Broncos. You and I didn't even get into this last hour. I did a little bit with Gus Frerotte. He shoots off his mouth with the USA Today. And to be honest, I spend half my time in the United States of America, soon to be way more than that. And I consume all of the NFL coverage. And my favorite is the USA Today. I hate them as a news and political publication, but sports, they're bang on. And Sean Payton, the coach of the Denver Broncos, said the coach that was in there in Denver last year, Nathaniel Hackett, did the worst job of coaching in NFL history. So there's that. And now, and you know all this, right? You know, you're following this. Nathaniel Hackett had just come from 3 years as offensive coordinator in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. He got fired in Denver last year, and now he's with the Jets as the offensive coordinator. It prompted Aaron Rodgers to come out and on, I think it was NFL Network yesterday, and basically say, he gave him the Will Smith, Chris Rock treatment. Get my OC's name out your mouth. And the thing is, Sean Payton, you won a Super Bowl. In America, you have to understand, you win a Super Bowl, you can pretty much do anything you want. You can walk into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and take a leak on the carpet if you won a Super Bowl, you can do whatever you want. And Sean Payton's been doing whatever he wants. But when you shoot your mouth off, you better be careful for the consequences. For me, it's not just a 34-year broadcast career I've been shooting my mouth off. I've been shooting my mouth off since I came out of the womb. My family will tell you that. I don't know any other way. I'm trying to get a little bit better, Darren. But thank gosh we work for the Rod Pedersen show. We don't really got to worry about ticking anybody off. And we don't say anything real bad, but I'll go back to the story from an hour ago where I said I was at the Calgary Stampeders watch party last night, and the guy came up to me, real nice guy. Chris introduced himself, and he's like, I really love your show, Rod. I follow all that you do, but I used to hate you. I hated you. You were the Saskatchewan guy. I couldn't, but I've been telling my friends, you got to watch that show because I think Rod's coming around. I'm like, I've been coming around for 2 years. I've been paying for 2 years for shooting my mouth off about the Calgary Stampeders. And having said 2 years is a long time, Darren. And that's why I think it's going so well in America for me, because I go down there and nobody knows. I mean, it's a lot of work to start over at my age, but it's fun. And as one of those Florida wealthy types said to me on the weekend, they're like, there is an unlimited amount of opportunity for you here with your talent and your experience. Hence, here we are. So, that's my opening monologue of hour 2 at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. Your take on Sean Payton and Aaron Rodgers before we get into these CFL things.
Yeah, I saw this a couple different angles. One, I saw the tweet, I don't know if you did, from Peter Schrager. He's on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network. He does a lot of pregame show coverage on Fox. Yeah. But he goes on Fox. And so, but the reason why it's relevant, Sean Payton worked at Fox, while he wasn't coaching. And he worked closely with Peter Schrager. And what Peter said was that if Sean Payton said this, it was calculated. Sean Payton doesn't do or say anything unless it's intentional and calculated. So I started thinking, well, what's the reason? Is it to, give Russell Wilson a scapegoat and get his confidence in the right place and say, look, that's on the coach. I'm not putting that on you, Russ. So I have 100% confidence in you. And if that's what he needs to do to get them on the right foot, then so be it. But Aaron Rodgers did come out, you're right, and say, defended his coach. He said he had him in Green Bay, maybe the most fun, favorite coach he's ever had. Maybe it wasn't as much directed at Nathaniel Hackett as much as maybe it was a message, for Russell Wilson and the Broncos players.
And by the way, here's the thing, too, interesting you say that. I think football coaches all have a type. They're not all the same. Like Mark Trestman couldn't be more different than Chris Jones, and Ken Miller couldn't be more different than Sean Payton, and you know what I mean? They're largely the same, and I think they're calculated in everything that they do. And just pause for a second. I know that there's a lot of Rider fans watching, tuned in, and they're going off about the quarterback. Darren and I gave our thoughts on who should start next week. We both said Mason Fine, did we not? I did.
Yes.
What did you say? Yeah, we both think Mason Fine should start, so there's that. Now they're all going off about the president should be fired, that this should be fired. It's too late, guys. It's the middle of summer. If you thought you had a problem in those areas, you should have addressed it in the offseason or before. It's too late now. The train's going off the tracks. You need to let the train go off the tracks before you can administer the recovery effort and the cleanup. So there's that. And I'll also say this about what you say with Payton, and it's calculated. Sometimes I feel like I don't give myself enough credit with what I've learned in life and in my training as a recovery coach, a diploma as an addiction treatment specialist, interventions, grief, trauma, stress management, certification, all of that. There's 36 different personality types, Darren, 36 different types, and you'll meet them all by the time you're 40. So you got a few years to go. But I think so I'll tie this back in with the CFL. And then by the way, we do have some NHL to get to, including our poll question today. Will the Vegas Golden Knights repeat as Stanley Cup champions? I've said yes. It's brought to you by Key Auto Group. But Chris Jones is the same in terms of being calculated. And when he came out last year and called out Cody Fajardo leading into the season, Saskatchewan's quarterback, he completely spun Cody into the ditch. mentally. It really did. Now, having said that, Sask went into Edmonton and won. I think it motivated Cody in that one particular game there, right? But I think Jones is the same. When he says something, there's always something behind it. A guy like me, that's why I wonder why Jones and I get along so well, because we're not that similar. I shoot my mouth off quite often without thinking. But that's why I'm sitting in front of the camera. That's why I have a show.
That's right.
You know, the Chris Jones show would last, what, a day? It's not sustainable. It's not entertaining. I mean, he's entertaining, but in small doses. So that's my point. So with this changing of the offensive coordinator thing, you people really need to examine this for a second. And we went through the Sask quarterback situation. We went through the Hamilton situation with Bo Levi breaking his leg. Do you believe in a curse? We've had this so many times, this discussion. I still can't figure it out. But I think there is something to a curse. I do. Actually, I know it. Now that I think about it, and people that I've been introduced to in this town by Kevin the Medium, there is such a thing as curses. So somebody has cursed the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I won't go so far as to say Bo Levi Mitchell, but they need to go in there and have a seance or a sacrifice or something. Kill a chicken in the middle of the Hamilton Tiger Cats locker room, because they have an issue there. They're clearly cursed. I don't need to be convinced about that. But the president of the Elks, Victor Cui, I didn't see the quote, but I guess he'd said, we just need some luck. We just need some luck. And I had one of these football guys on the weekend say to me, he goes, could you imagine Norm Kimball or Hugh Campbell, two legendary Edmonton Eskimo executives, saying we just need some luck? He's like, those guys never talked about luck. It's not about luck. And I think this guy's right when he says that. What do you think about Victor Cui saying we need some luck? I don't think luck's what they need. I don't.
No, but again, you come back to, like, what's the message here? You know, is he trying to say, you know, instill faith in the players and the coaches and say, look, they're doing their job. We just need a few things to go our way. You know, and is this a message to the media, but it's actually a hidden message, you know, to his staff? You know, and when you say these things, you know, you don't want to come out in the media and say, look, we need better players. You know, and then everybody else in the locker room that you have to go to battle with here, you're not changing them right now. Then it's a bad situation. But they do need some things to go their way, but they also need somebody in that locker room to step up and take ownership of this and lead this team somewhere, right? Somebody's got to step up, make a play, do something, and say, look, we're going.
I love the comment. I think you're right. And by the way, we got some good ones here from the audience. Argo Fluffy writes in and says, I'll never put down my Ticats voodoo doll. He's saying he put the curse on the Ticats. From Mark K. watching, he says the Elks curse started when Taylor Cornelius picked number 15 to wear. Rich, there might be something to that. I didn't. What are you wearing 15? What are you allowing him to wear number 15 for faux show? Rich in Edmonton says the disgruntled masses in E-Town don't believe/think it's just down to bad luck. I don't think it is either. Your president seems to think that has something to do with it. I do not. And I'm getting squirreled out here right now. We'll have to bring in Kevin the Medium to calm me down next segment. John in Winnipeg writes in and says, agreed. He's a Rider fan there. He says, agreed. Wait till the season plays out and start the firing. Here it is. I agree. Let's let the Riders fail and then fire them all at the end of the season. They're not making firings now. So there's that. Thoughts, Moose? I need to collect my thoughts for a second. There's a lot going on here right now.
Let me go back to Hamilton, because I still have thoughts on the Bo Levi thing. And, you know, the more I read, you know, comments on social about it, you know, there's questions of why didn't he kneel down? There was a little bit of room to kneel down. Again, if you had put the third string quarterback in there, you know, your short yardage guy, and he took the snap and fumbled it, and it turned into a touchdown, you'd be saying, That's why you got to have your starter in there. He's comfortable. It's his hands. You got to have your starter in there. If he breaks his leg or he gets a fracture, which means he'll probably come back sooner. Sounds like he'll go on the 6th game and be able to come back when that's done. Now you're saying I should have had the 3rd-string quarterback in there. Like you said at the beginning, football's the ultimate hindsight sport, right? And hindsight's always 20/20. You always look back, and whether the rookie or the backup would have fumbled it, you would have said the starter should have been in there in that key moment. That's the one time. But because Bo hurts himself, you think it should have been the backup. Either way, that's just the way it goes sometimes. And maybe that's the curse we're talking about.
Well, and what do we say? There's another thing. People will love you no matter what you do, and some will hate you no matter what you do. And therefore, you just got to keep doing what you're going to need to do, want to do, what you think's best. And so, Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, can you imagine if Winnipeg brass listened to Bomber fans after O'Shea's first year? I think he was 1-4, and they all wanted Mike O'Shea to be fired. And whether it was Kyle Walters or the president, Wade Miller, either one of them, I don't know. But that's why you need a strong leader in there, not a guy with a jellyfish spine. And unfortunately, the guys with a jellyfish spine seem to be running sports teams and companies and radio and TV stations, believe me. That's the way that it is now. So if you don't have a strong leader that can block out the noise, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, and that's where a lot of these franchises are. And that's why, oh my God, I've landed the plane. Unreal. I thank you for that. I don't believe what the Elks are going through is on Chris Jones or on Stephen McAdoo. The problems go way, way, way back. Before Chris Presson, the guy that changed the name from the Eskimos to the Elks, to Len Rhodes, who I know, him personally. I didn't feel he was a very strong guy. And he fired Ed Hervey, and then Len Rhodes got fired, and then this Chris Presson came in, and he didn't know the CFL from the LCF or the whatever. They didn't know squat. Should never have been hired. And that's all on the board. The Edmonton Eskimos Elks board. They're the ones that have the blood on their hands. That's why when this train goes off the tracks in Riderville, which is on the way, I'm sitting there going, it's the board. You guys don't understand. You guys in these community-owned teams are allowing them off the hook way too easily. You're pointing the finger at the wrong person. And in Winnipeg, they put in Wade Miller and said, you go do it. Ever hear anybody say Wade Miller's not strong? You won't. Right? You won't.
No, not at all.
No, and we had a really long talk at a lounge here in Calgary not that long ago with some CFL alumni, guys that had played with Wade by name, Matt Sheridan, Mike Abumeshrik, and they actually like him a lot. The thing with Wade is he doesn't suffer fools and he doesn't suffer mediocrity. So if you're not performing, you're gone. And that's not the case in some. But look at Sask last year, 6-12, everybody comes back. And then they say, oh, we knew there'd be a down year. What? You're hosting the Grey Cup. Who believes this stuff? But they believed it.
No. Yeah.
So now they get what they get. Okay, Moose, you're done. Kevin the Medium's coming in next. That'll be fun. Appreciate you.
You bet. Enjoy the day.
Talking a lot of CFL football today. We'll get into the 2-5 Stampeders when we come back. And the BC Lions. What are they, Kev? 6-1, 7-1, 8-1, 9.5, 6-1. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Lake Senator Kim Marcus Airborne off the scene. ETA 2 minutes.
The prizes are a draw, but the cause, that's the clincher.
This is why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Century Downs Racetrack and Casino presents the World Professional Chuck Wagon Association Finals. Be here when the wagons roll August 23rd to 27th. Single-day tickets and 5-day passes available at showpass.com. Century Downs, welcome to the winner's zone.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, welcome back live, everybody. Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. By the way, coming your way here, the World Professional Chuck Wagon Association World Finals, August 23rd to the 25th. You can get your tickets now at showpass.com. We'll be here for it. Come on down and say hey. Just like many did on Saturday here for Packwood Grand. Man, was that something else. There's breaking news on this Monday in the world of Canadian sports. The Edmonton Elks making some coaching changes. Following their 0-8 start, pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach Jarius Jackson is taking over as offensive coordinator, but current OC Stephen McAdoo is not being fired. He's being reassigned within the organization, and I appreciate Nelson for writing in from Twitter that TSN's Ryan Rishaug reporting today, which is interesting because the Elks are on a bye, that Jared Daggy is immediately being named the #1 quarterback, Trey Ford #2, and Cornelius dropped down to 3. So if you ever want to know how much authority an offensive coordinator has on a Chris Jones team, there you go. They changed the OC, and the quarterback pecking order changes mightily. Well, a CFL guy is Kevin the Medium. He joins us here live at Century Downs. Kevin Hughes, he's also our sales coordinator. How you doing, Kev?
If I was any better, I'd be twins.
You'd be twins. Nice work.
How about that?
It's ended up being a very large CFL day. By the way, the Blue Jays are home to the Orioles tonight. It's a 4-game set, and the Jays are 5.5 back for the division lead. Craig Ballard joining us next segment to talk about the series and the trade deadline from LockedOn Blue Jays. We have not talked enough, and that's probably, the Stampeders are probably happy that we haven't talked much about them. They lost 25-18 at Montreal last night. Death, taxes, and Fajardo winning. That's what you can guarantee. You like that one?
I did. I was actually sitting over there and I did giggle when you said
Death, taxes, and Fajardo winning. So let's put a pause on the Elks thing and the Sask quarterback thing and the Bo Levi broken leg thing. I just realized there's a lot of stuff in the CFL to talk about right now going into week 9.
How about my BC Lions?
The BC Lions. Yes.
Another shutout. Yes, it was against
It's only Edmonton, man.
It doesn't matter. It's 2 shutouts in one season.
It does matter.
When has that ever happened? Even back when Hamilton was 1-7, they never got shut out.
So what about it? Did you come here to gloat today?
I did. BC's defense is probably one of the best defenses I've seen since Wake was on the team.
Mm-hmm.
When was that? Around
2010.
2010, 29?
Yeah. Ish.
Ish.
The EMJ marketing text line is open and just, whew, the Rider fans are fired up. Metal Shingle Guy writes in and says, well, Rod, Mason Fine's now 0-4 as a starter. What has changed? Time for the big man. Bring him out. He's talking about Jake Delgado, the third-string quarterback who's 6'7". Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba says, hi, Rod. The Riders need offensive line help. Perhaps Jeremy O'Day, the general manager, could suit up. I still have hope for Mason Fine. Jim in Belgoni writes in and he says, hot garbage. Maybe Edmonton should consider that for another name change. Approved. Here's a good start. You've been, like I said, you and I are around the same age. Are the Edmonton Elks the worst team in CFL history?
They have to be.
I think they are.
I don't think, I mean, I've been watching, I don't remember not watching the CFL, and I'm 58. I don't think I've ever seen a worse team. Even back when Hamilton was playing at I Never Win Stadium.
Never Win Stadium, yes.
They weren't this bad. At least they had hope. There's no hope for Edmonton right now.
No, and when you don't have hope, that's the worst place to be.
It is,
right?
It?
So we believe that, yes, the Edmonton Elks are the worst team in the CFL, but you're Kevin the Medium, you're a spiritual guy. Any of this linked to the fun conspiracy theory that this is karma getting them for changing the name from Eskimos to Elks?
Give it a rest.
You don't believe that?
It has nothing to do with a name change. It has everything to do with lack of chemistry, lack of whatever it is that a team gets, like BC has, like, I'm going to say it, like Winnipeg has, like Calgary used to have.
Yeah.
It's that it factor. They don't have the it factor right now, and who knows how to fix it.
Glad it ain't me that needs to figure it out, and I'm glad I'm not broadcasting their games, believe me. I feel sorry for those guys, Morley and Dave.
There.
I have been there. It's not. Chris Jones is hard to interview after a win, not after 21 consecutive straight losses. Allie in Texarkana waving says, hi, Kevin.
Hi.
John Ohm in Winnipeg says, how do you spell win? R-O-D.
Oh.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you.
Today.
He's in Winnipeg, and I'll say it again. I'll never forget, you weren't on the call, but it was DuPont looking up analytics, and he was like, our #1 city for viewership is now Winnipeg. He looked at me like, for my reaction. And I was like, that doesn't surprise me. I talk about shooting my mouth off in this town, and you've been around me long enough to realize now it's been a lot of cleaning up in this town for the last 2 years. We're finally getting it cleaned up. But Winnipeg, like, within 24 hours of me leaving the Riders, they were like, come on in as a town. They were unbelievable and continue to be. And you know why? They just love their sports.
They do.
They don't put on airs. They knew that I was the Rider guy, and it was my job. Not my job anymore.
I mean,
Calgary's just figuring that out.
I call them the Smurf Mafia, but
it's fun
Winnipeg
stuff.
Fans are good fans. They're not bad fans, just like Rider fans.
Yeah. It's a big overreaction Monday day. I know you like this that term, don't you?
I do.
Rich in Edmonton says, by the way, I'm telling you, some of those mid-1980s Ottawa teams were as bad. Not worse, but as bad. Well, if they don't win a game, there won't be a debate.
Well,
they will go down as the worst team ever.
And now they're in their bye, and then they come out of their bye and they play Winnipeg. It doesn't look good.
No, but you never know. You're seeing a big disparity in the Canadian Football League. I'll just read one more because I like it. John in Winnipeg says, John Ohm says, Winnipeg loves Rod. Fact. Rod loves Winnipeg. Lot of great fans there. So it does not surprise me one bit that our number one city for viewership is Winnipeg. But if you know math at all, it's a numbers thing. It's far bigger than Regina. And 750,000 in Winnipeg alone is about the size of Saskatchewan as it is, just based on numbers. There's no fewer people watching in Saskatchewan. That's the point. It's just grown in Winnipeg.
Well, yeah.
That's all. Bo Levi broke his leg. It's a big CFL day, and that's fine. Coming out of Week 8, looking towards Week 9, and the NFL hasn't kicked off yet, nor college. And we're not the Blue Jays show, but we're going to talk about that next. Bo Levi breaking his leg. How much are you on that story?
You know what? I plan to write an article about it today, but my question is, why was he in the game? And what was he doing? It didn't make sense to me. I didn't watch the game. I was off on holidays, but it just didn't make sense the way I read it, that he was in, and two, what was he doing? Take a knee. Like you say, even if it's in the end zone, give up the 2 points. You still got the lead.
And they wouldn't have time to score, I wouldn't think.
I mean, anything's possible in the CFL, but a question now becomes, is that the end? Is this a Lule? You look back when Lule was, it was Lule's shoulder. And I'll never forget it. He heard it playing Montreal the first time, and he heard it the second time playing Montreal, and that was the last game. Is this Bo's last game? Does he turn to coaching now?
I tell you, as you know, I've spent enough time in this town. It's fascinating in a way, the way the end of the Bo Levi era went, and sad. Like, nobody really talks about it. If it was the Flames, they'd still be talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh.
But Bo Levi gets sat down, loses his job to Jake Mayer, and if he could have left that day, he would have. But he had to wait till the end of the season, sit there and eat spit. I admire him for all of that. And then, like, literally the second of the season was over, U-Haul pulled up, gone.
But we wouldn't have had that moment in the Western semifinal where Bo comes in.
But they still lost, so it doesn't matter.
But it was that moment where it's like he came in and everybody was like, oh my God, Bo's coming in.
Ryan in New York State says, I'd be curious to see if the Tiger Cats try to employ the services of one law office of McLeod Bethel Thompson. I'm on record as saying I'll eat my shorts if Macbeth comes back to the CFL. I'll eat my shorts. He ain't coming back. From Patrolman Pete. By the way, I thought I saw McLeod Bethel Thompson in a car in front of our Calgary hotel, waiting in the parking lot. McLeod Bethel Thompson. If it wasn't him, it looked just like him.
Everybody has a doppelganger.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, it was sad, Rod, but that's how it goes. Yeah, and you need to be allowed the opportunity to move on to the next thing. You know, flip the page, move on to the next chapter. And Bo's doing that, and it's the next chapter has been sad. It's tough. I don't even know if he'll go on TSN now. Somewhat I hope he does whatever he'd like to do. Wouldn't that be nice?
I think you'll see him on the panel.
Patrolman Pete says it's not that unusual for a starting quarterback to play the final snaps. The only question is why he didn't just take a knee. Well, they're saying, because I turned the TV off. I thought it was over. They were at the 2. Had he taken a knee, he'd have been in the end zone. They would have given up a safety, had it kick off. And I'm like, didn't, as I said earlier, give up the safety. But I never coached a football game. Never even played football. Which, by the way, the curse. Do you think Hamilton's cursed?
No. Come on, it's sports. I mean, you have winning streaks and you have losing streaks. It's just
not
the way it is.
Not related to a name change or somebody didn't go woo-doo. You won't win as long as...
What was it, the famous baseball team that had the curse? Come on, it's not a
The
curse.
Red Sox.
Yes, it gets in your head. It's a human thing. It's not a curse. It drives me nuts when I hear it.
So why is Edmonton so bad?
Lack of players, lack of talent. It has nothing to do with a name change. It's like saying
You think it's ridiculous?
That's like I'm going to change my name to Dave, and all of a sudden...
your life's going to change.
Yes, it's not. It's It's just a name. People need to. I saw something on Facebook that the fans around Washington are trying to get them to bring back the Redskins name, and because it's a curse, they changed the name. It's not because they changed the name. It has nothing to do with it.
You're fully confident in that.
100%.
Okay.
And that's not just Kevin the Medium. That's just common sense.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says it's the curse of Ricky Ray. That Cornelius is wearing 50. There's a lot of things that have gone against the Edmonton football franchise. How about that?
Yes.
How about that? I'm not done with you, but I am for this segment.
Okay.
We come back in overtime?
Anytime you need me.
Get your Blue Jays questions ready. Craig Ballard joins us next from the Locked On Blue Jays podcast. We are live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. And that reminds me, we will have to update our poll question today. Will the Vegas Golden Knights repeat as Stanley Cup champions? Don't answer it yet, Kev. I'll ask you later. He's a Vancouver Canucks fan. You're very valuable to us because we don't have enough Canucks representation on this show. So don't let it go to your head.
I'll wear my jersey.
Talking Blue Jays next on Game Plus Television, WQEE podcast and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors. There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It is daytime sports talk at its best from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. What a Monday. What a sad news to pass along. It's been a bad day. Not the Stephen McAdoo thing. He's demoted as offensive coordinator of Edmonton. Canada lost at the World Women's Cup. And now we have news, and they're out. And now we have news that Pee Wee Herman has passed away at the age of 70. Pee Wee Herman is a comic fictional character created and portrayed by American comedian Paul Reubens. He starred in films and television series during the 1980s. And as the stage performance got further popularity, Paul Reubens took the character Pee Wee Herman to motion picture with Pee Wee's Big Adventure in 1985. Don't Google any more than that. Pee Wee Herman passing away today at the age of 70. Condolences to his family. Let's bring in Craig Ballard. Well, the best news is about the Toronto Blue Jays, I think. Coming off some series wins against West Coast teams. Craig, welcome back from the LockedOn Blue Jays podcast. Appreciate you, man. Where are you on the Jays these days? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Well, first of all, Rod, great to be back on with you. Second of all, I mean, shout out to Pee Wee's Playhouse, right? Can we take a quick second here? Shout out to Pee Wee's Playhouse. That was a great show.
You say whatever you need. You take the time. He deserves it. Absolutely.
Yes, I agree. I also agree with your sentiment to don't Google further. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, Toronto Blue Jays, yeah, I'm very, very excited about the team right now. The last couple months, they actually have the best record in all of baseball. I mean, is that going to work? Is that good? So yes, very excited about the Blue Jays. I think the trade deadline is going to improve them even further. We're already out of the gate with that. This Jordan Hicks trade is a real deal benefit for at least the 2023 Toronto Blue Jays. I hope going forward as well. Sure to see some more trades coming later today and tomorrow. And that's off the field. On the field, the first place, I don't know how this happened, but the first place Baltimore Orioles are in town for 4 this week, Rod. So off the field, business is picking up. On the field, business is picking up.
It is a key series for sure. And you know, the last time, Craig, you were on, Alek Manoah had just been sent down to the minors. And you were saying, we don't know what's wrong with him. In retrospect now, and he seems to have found what he lost. He really does. What do you think was wrong with him?
Boy, Rod, I so sincerely wish I had a better answer coming for you on this. And it's simply because in all my years watching baseball, I've never seen a scenario like this. People, bring up the comparison of Roy Halladay. Well, when Roy Halladay was sent back to the minor leagues, he was not coming off a season where he was number 3 in baseball in Cy Young voting. And in 2021, Alek Manoah was absolutely incredible as well. So to see that level of fall from grace, I've just not seen it before. And for the rest of this season, if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, I mean, I still do think we see Alek Manoah get back to being that 1 or 2 in your rotation, but certainly not in 2023. There's some work that needs to take place in the offseason. Seems like there might be some work to do between the ears as well in the offseason, but I do still think that can improve. But for the rest of this season, Rod, I don't know what we're going to get from Alek Manoah. My goodness, I hope the Blue Jays have put themselves in a situation with Kevin Gausman and Barrios well at the top of the rotation. I hope the Blue Jays are in a spot where they'd be fine with having Manoah be more like the 3 or the 4, because I just don't see him getting back to being that 1 and that 2. Yes, we've seen flashes of some improvements from Alek Manoah, but certainly nothing consistent where we think that the Alek Manoah is back. And we're going to have to see, Rod, we're going to have to see how he responds in his next time out. That hitting that player in the face the other day to end his game on Saturday afternoon, that's a very big deal, Rod. That is a very big deal. So between the ears, we're going to have to see what Alek Manoah looks like for the rest of this season. But overall,
it was a traumatic traumatic situation for everybody involved. By the way, that powder blue lid at your right elbow, was that what the Jays wore on Canada Day? That splashy little number that I fell in love with so much?
This is an All-Star game throwback. This is from when the Jays hosted the All-Star game in '91. This little, I love this one right here. Yeah.
Whoa.
No, this is not related. No.
Well, that one was hot too. Everything Blue Jays. Give me it all. Absolutely. On the Jordan Hicks trade, so basically did Ross Atkins say and John Schneider that we've had enough Mickey Mouse in our bullpen. Jordan Romano can't decide whether he's healthy or not, so we need to get a guy in here that can close out games? Or what led to that deal, do you think?
Not just to close out games. I mean, the Jordan Romano, even before he had this actual injury, he was breaking down, a huge workload. Eric Swanson comes into this season. His career high for appearances is at 57. He's already at 49. Jimmy Garcia is already at 48. Nate Pearson comes into this season with 17 career appearances on the big league level. He's at 30 this season. Trevor Richards is on pace for by far his highest innings pitched as a reliever. So the workload was just untenable. It's not something that could continue. Yes, Chad Green, we hope, is around the corner, and he's going to be massive for this team. But there had to be another addition. And so from that standpoint, I love this Jordan Hicks move now. So you needed another addition to help the other arms. Now, what about the addition itself? Can he stand on his own as an asset? Oh, yes, he can. This guy, my goodness, he has multiple. He has a couple different pitches that he throws, Rod, that average over 100 miles per hour. He's topped out this season at 104 miles per hour. Now, I do want to say about Jordan Hicks, I do want to caution the fans. There's not a lot of 3-up, 3-down innings. I'll say that. A little bit of control issues, so there'll be a walk in there, maybe a hit in there. But the thing about Jordan Hicks is his stuff is so nasty that it's next to impossible to string together a streak of 3 or 4 quality at-bats in a row where you're getting a couple hits and maybe a walk in there to rally to score a run. And it's every bit as difficult to square up the fastball to just hit a home run and instantly put runs up on the board. So I don't think you're going to end up looking like me with the bald head, but just know that there won't be a lot of 3-up, 3-down innings with Jordan Hicks. But at the end of the inning, you're still going to be happy. That's still going to be a success. So Jordan Hicks, he walks in the door to really help lengthen the depth in this bullpen. But I also think that right away, too, we'll see him get some high leverage opportunities, some 8th and 9th inning opportunities. And the timing of the trade, Rod, is very interesting because if this trade came down to the trade deadline, we talk about Baltimore being in town. If it came down to the trade deadline, then Jordan Hicks probably misses this entire Orioles series. As is, he should get here and be able to pitch and contribute in the series. So this is a trade that we could see pay dividends right away.
Only time for one more question. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes, but wonderful Blue Jays analysis and great comments coming in from the audience. And I'll get to as many as I can. Chad in Lethbridge says, great trade. Jordan Hicks, huge pickup. 104-mile-an-hour fastball. Kikuchi's turned it around. Manoah's pitching better. I think the 6-man rotation will help immensely. From Richard Holdridge in Columbus, Georgia, he says, great show. Thank you, Richard. We're going to be going on his show coming up later on this afternoon. He's a baseball guy. And the Braves, I saw today, well, I don't know what are the power rankings that we're reading. The Braves ranked number 1 overall in the majors. The Blue Jays were 7th. So I'll get to that in a second. And Robin, and thank you, Richard, for tuning in. I can't wait to be on your show this afternoon. Robin says, Craig, now with a balanced schedule, is there a need for divisions in baseball? For instance, the Twins are in a playoff spot at 54 and 53. They'd be in last in the American League East. Could you imagine them just erasing the lines of the divisions and making them? What do you think about that? I hope they don't.
No, I don't. And there's a few things. It's a great question. Thank you so much for a great question. There's a few things in play here. First of all, when the expansion happened and you went from American League East to American League West to a Central team in there now, the Toronto Blue Jays were slated to go in that Central, and they screamed bloody murder. They kicked up a fuss. They said, absolutely not. You keep us in the American League East, because the Toronto Blue Jays, from a business standpoint, want those gates when the Boston Red Sox come to town, want those gates when the New York Yankees come to town, and they don't want to see even less games with that. So even if there's a choice that the Toronto Blue Jays could make, believe it or not, they would want to stay in this division. And I certainly hear your points, right? Because I mean, the AL East this season. AL East this season is the reason for the bald head, if we're being honest. My goodness, it is incredible. But it's to one version or another, Rod, it's always been like this. I was looking back the other day at a couple of Blue Jays seasons in the 90s and the 2000s. Well, my goodness, the Blue Jays in 1989 at the trade deadline, they're under 500. They're in second place in the American League East. If they were in the American League West, they'd be in last place. So this has ebb and flow to it. I know with the Yankees and the Red Sox ability to spend, it seems like it's always going to be daunting in this division. But honestly, from a business standpoint, the Toronto Blue Jays wouldn't have it any other way. So anybody hoping that the Blue Jays, are going to be out of this division at some point. Even if they're given the choice, Rod, they'll turn it down.
Isn't that something, man? I appreciate the insight. I did not know that. Craig Ballard, Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Thanks, man. Enjoy the rest of the run, and we'll catch up with you in August.
Thanks so much, Rod. Shout out to you and your entire crew. Just a great job there.
How about that?
Thank you, pal. Appreciate it. I would say right back at you. We are going to have an audience takeover when we return and a sports update. They really want to talk about all the topics we've been discussing today. We'll be right back, live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, your southern home of sports and talk in Atlanta, Georgia, and also podcast and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Century Downs Racetrack and Casino presents the World Professional Chuck Wagon Association Finals. Be here when the wagons roll August 23rd to 27th. Single-day tickets and 5-day passes available at showpass.com. Century Downs, welcome to the winner's zone.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We're officially calling it Black Monday, don't you know? Breaking news, and it's all bad. Canada losing to the host Australians. The Matildas, 4-0 at the World Women's Cup. They're coming home. Stephen McAdoo out. as the offensive coordinator of the Edmonton Elks. And from the EMJ Marketing text line, they all want to talk about the Elks. And Pee Wee Herman. Paul Rubens passing away at the age of 70 due to a battle with cancer. Kevin the Medium rejoins us here. They say bad news comes in threes, and maybe Edmonton fans don't think it's bad news at all. But I'm sure you were a Pee Wee Herman fan. How could you not be?
I don't think I can't really say I was a Pee Wee Herman fan. I mean, obviously.
He's hilarious, man.
Watched him. We laughed. I'm shocked that he was 70, but then when I was sitting here thinking about it, I'm almost 60, so that would make sense.
It was 40 years ago, bro.
Yeah.
That he rose to prominence with Pee Wee's Playhouse.
40 years?
1985 is when his movie came out.
Yeah, okay.
I know. Do the math. We're old. And don't Google him, kids. Don't. Just take my word for it. Pee Wee Herman passing away.
Thank him later.
Yeah. It's a family show. I'm very excited to be going on with Richard Holdridge this afternoon, WQEE Atlanta. They love us down there. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. They just do.
Matter.
It doesn't matter, exactly. Ooh. Shout out to you, Ryan O'Radio. I saw you writing in earlier from the radio penitentiary, Ryan O'Neill. Best show on radio right now, anywhere. You're the best, man. Before we go any further, you wanted to say hey and thank you.
Yes.
To a good friend of ours.
Good friend Craig Campbell set us up. We were out in Toronto on Saturday, and he set us up with passes to go into the Hockey Hall of Fame. If you ever get a chance, you're in Toronto and you haven't been there, check it out. It is amazing. We were only there for a couple hours. I could have spent 10 hours there.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you for hooking our boy up, Craig. You're the best. Appreciate you. He came here for CFL news back in the day, and that's what we're at here now. Wayne is watching on Game Plus in television. He says, hi, Rod. Elks culture's a problem. Yes. And also, I believe the board hired the GM, Chris Jones, before they hired Victor Cui. He says, keep up the great work. He goes, usually they hire the president before the GM. Do you all remember in December when that went down? And I said, this seems kind of ass backwards to me. No, Rod, you don't know anything.
What do you know?
I don't know anything. Yeah, okay. How's that working for you? And Max in Toronto writes, and he says, some people keep blaming the Elks community ownership for this, saying they need a private owner. Do you think this is bogus? Yes, I do, because when they were winning 14 Grey Cups and were in the playoffs 35 years in a row, they had community ownership then, too. It's not about that. It's about having the proper people in the proper roles. Why? Am I speaking Mandarin? Why do they not understand this?
Well, and that's what we talked about it in the last segment when I was on. It's not a curse. It's not because they changed their names. They just have to find the right people in the right roles to put it all together. And I don't think Jones has been given enough of an opportunity yet. A lot of people are calling for his head. He's won everywhere he's went. He will turn it around, hopefully. It'll be good for the league.
Well, I'm trying to remember. You were traveling Saturday night back from Tirana. Hey, thank you, Rich in Edmonton. Guy says he doesn't follow the CFL, but I think that's only because your team's junk, Rich. He's a huge Oiler fan, and he says, here, Rod, 100% bang on. Thank you. Thank you. And that's why I need to practice meditation and self-care and get everybody out of my head listening to people that don't know what they're talking about. And by the way, Serena's here, and if we'd had more time today, I'd put her on now. But I'm giving her more time tomorrow because she's got a lot of things to talk about. So for the Edmonton sports fans, particularly Oiler fans, tune in tomorrow because she'll give you her thoughts and answer all your questions on all kinds of things. And
you think she'll talk about the Oilers?
She has to talk about the Oilers because people are asking me, what's Serena think about this? I don't know. Ask her. I don't speak for her. Wouldn't try, right?
Smart man.
Yeah, that's true. People say a lot of things about me, but they don't say ever that I don't work hard or that I'm not smart. John in Edmonton says, John in Winnipeg, Elks lose in 2 official languages now, right, Rod? Yes, Punjabi and English.
They had the first Punjabi telecast. Was that
was Saturday? Yes.
Yes.
Arlen Bruce III says, he writes it, he says, bro, don't take this personal, but if Chris Jones was Pinball Clemens at 0-7, he would have been dismissed weeks ago.
Ooh.
Please make it make sense. I get what you're saying, and I can't say that you're right or wrong, but Pinner wouldn't be 0-7, so...
True story.
You know what I mean?
True story.
Hockey. Hey, listen, tomorrow we don't have time here. Paul in Edmonton says, a study in contrasting broadcasting styles, Matt Dunnigan versus Paul LaPolice. I got to start watching with the sound up, I guess, because I didn't listen to Lapo because I didn't have the sound up to the game last night. I was with you. We didn't even hear it.
I actually listened to the last quarter, and Lapo was good.
Okay, Vegas Golden Knights, will they repeat as Stanley Cup champions? I'm saying yes for Key Auto Group.
I'm saying no with
you have to.
With capital N and a capital O. They will not. They won't even make it past the first round.
How about that?
How about that?
Kevin comes in here dropping bombs.
You know my feeling about the Vegas Knights. I'm not a fan.
Well, you're a Vancouver fan, which means you're full of hate and anger. We need to work on that.
Don't trigger me.
Ali in Texarkana says, yay, a Serena day. Oh, boy. That's tomorrow, noon Eastern. See you then.
Who has more fun than us?
Let's go.